footsteps on the stairs. Suddenly, she put on a different expression, like a mask, and pulled us into her arms. "Oh, girls," she simpered, "I'm just so glad to have you home safe." Father stepped down into the hall. When his eyes met mine, he took a deep breath and adjusted his tie.
"Scarlet," he said.
"Father."
I can't believe it. You're here."
His normally cold exterior was showing some cracks. Tears glinted in his eyes. I broke free of my stepmother, ran over and embraced him. He wrapped his arms around the back of my head, not quite touching me, but it was closer than we'd been in years. Ivy hung back. "We need to tell you everything," she said. "Rookwood isn't just awful, it's dangerous, and what Miss Fox did," our stepmother snorted. "It's all over now, isn't it? This Miss Fox has run away. There's no need to trouble your father with such things." Father straightened up and looked at his wife.
"No, Ivy's right," he said. "I want to understand how this happened. Let's go to the study."
He led us away from her, and I couldn't help feeling a little amused by how horrified she looked at being left out of the conversation. Why did she want to avoid the subject of what had happened anyway? We walked through the house, past familiar doors and fireplaces and furniture. The landscape of my childhood. Harry, one of my young stepbrothers, peered round a door and stuck his tongue out at me. "What a way to welcome your sister back from the dead." I reached over to give him a slap, but Ivy grabbed my wrist and pulled me past. Father's study was still dull and sparsely furnished, with a mahogany writing desk, a chair and some filing cabinets. Ivy and I sat down on the floor beside the fire that half-heartedly smouldered in the hearth. Father sat in the chair and began polishing his glasses. "I don't know where to start," Ivy said. "I do," I replied. I told him everything that had happened. I told him about vile Violet, my roommate who had bossed me around and spied on me and stolen my things. I told him about wicked Miss Fox, who had taken Violet away after she threatened to reveal a dark secret up on the rooftops. I told him how I'd tried to confront Miss Fox, only for her to smuggle me out of the school and have me locked up in the asylum. Father stared intently at the wall above my head, but I could tell he was listening from the sharp intake of breath every time I got to a shocking moment. Ivy chimed in towards the end, telling him what had happened at Rookwood in the meantime. I'd heard more of her story in the boarding house and on the train. How Miss Fox had hidden me away to save her own skin, to stop anyone finding out that she had an illegitimate daughter, not to mention that she was funding her lifestyle with the money paid by parents as school fees, perhaps explaining why the only thing on the dining hall menu was stew. "It was a nightmare, Father," I finished, "and I'm just so glad to be home. So can we stay?" He looked at me.
"No."
"Why?" I gaped at him. He took off his glasses and put them down on the desk.
"Scarlet, you know why. You've got to go back to school."
I felt a wave of unease wash over me. "But, Father, someone from that school put Scarlet in an asylum and pretended she was dead," said my twin. "You can't send us back there." I looked at her, surprised that shy, timid Ivy had spoken out for once. But our father didn't seem to notice.
"It was just that Miss Fox character, and she won't be returning."
I stood up, fists clenched. "I won't go back there. You can't make me." Father didn't rise to it.
"Edith hasn't got time to run around after you two. She has the boys to think of."
Edith, our stepmother. I hated the way he said her name. It was clear he cared about her more than he cared about us. I heard Ivy mutter something at the carpet.
"What was that?"
Father asked. She climbed to her feet. "I said, are you sure Edith wasn't involved with this? She was the one that told us Scarlet was, she was the one who identified the body, wasn't she? She offered to take care of the funeral arrangements, everything." Our father went deathly silent, and for a second I thought he was going to slap her. But his breath came out shakily, and then he spoke again.
"Don't be foolish. She cares for you, we both do. That's why we want to see you get an education and become independent young ladies."
Ivy stared at the floor, and I knew she was remembering the first time he had said that, the first time he sent me away. "Father," I said quietly, Don't send us back to Rookwood. Please." He shook his head.